Hi, I'm Anthony. I've been asked a few times now to tell my story, and I thought this might be a better way to go about it. It's been some 17 years since I was diagnosed with bipolar. Having a look at the symptoms that I got diagnosed with, I was running very manic. I was going through a lot of pressure back in that stage. Everything I'd worked for, my whole family and everything was on the line, and I basically didn't have an off button and just worked myself into the ground, where I got taken away in an ambulance and taken to hospital and put out of misery for a little while, I might call it. So going from that time in hospital and sort of then standing at the exit, I'd finally bluffed my way out. Told them a little porky pie that everything was fine, and yes, I will abide by the rule book, which I'm not real great at. And sort of standing at the counter, I sort of got asked, "Where are you off to?" And I sort of said I was going back home, and okay, where was that? And in the end, my family had gone and my kids had gone and everything, and I ended up sitting on the gutter and starting all over again. So what I'm saying there, it's been a fair journey to recover as well. The whole feelings around that time, sort of the doctors couldn't explain what was going on. Your whole life's been turned upside down and basically spat out again. So it's those feelings are pretty high, anxiety, all these sort of things, that everything's caving in and not going real flash for you. The mindset around that, again, people couldn't explain where it had come from, and I just didn't accept that based on it's basically destroyed my life and everything else around it. I've got to rebuild, and everybody just says they don't know why. So I never accepted it. I sort of went through the typical bipolar patterns of good and bad times, highs and lows, and over time I sort of learned to start to manage myself through enough sleep, and I knew what I needed, consistency, and also knew when the right time to turn back to medication was, just to prop me up when times weren't so flash. Finding a balance, I sort of learned to manage myself. Probably started 3-4 years in, maybe 2 to 3 years in, and learnt that I needed the right sleeping pattern, enough hours of sleep realistically, and just a sort of regular. And I knew that I was sort of sleeping, had to have X amount of hours sleep, so everything was staying in tune. So I'd found a balance there, and over the years, with all the different being self-employed and getting involved in different learnings, I got exposed to mindset techniques and mindset management tools, and that really started to open up a whole new area. For the record, I've been through 15 years, roughly, of counsellors, psychologists, psychiatrists. I think I'd pretty much seen them all, and it wasn't until I started getting into alternative techniques that life really started to make a major change.